Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Well, welcome. My name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I am the host today for today's program, Elegance, Polish Demeanor, and Posh Living. This is brought to you by USA Global TV and Radio, E360 TV, Ruco Worldwide, and Amazon Fire. We have a fascinating guest with us today, a lady by the name of Leah Stasney. With a passion for health and fitness, she is currently a regenerative wellness specialist with Lifewave, a leading biotechnical company that specializes in photolight therapy technology. Please join me in welcoming Leah and hearing all about her fascinating life and career in photolight therapy. Well, good morning, Leah. How are you?
Good morning. I am doing so great. I am so honored to be on USA Global TV with you this morning.
Well, we're happy to have you. You have really got an interesting job. Tell us a little bit about the Lifewave patches and how they enhance our health.
Well, I'm going to show you a picture, a sample of one. This is what it looks like, you guys. It is, as you can see, I've peeled the sticker off the back. And this is a form of wearable light technology. So now when we think of a patch, though, you guys, we probably think of maybe an estrogen patch or nicotine patch, where there's actually something on the patch that's going to transfer through the skin. And that's not what this technology is. This is a non-transdermal patch. Now, what does that mean? The little white part in the center, you can see that. It's a little white piece of fabric. And what's embedded, and you can see it's completely sandwiched between two polymer shells, completely sealed, sticky on one side, smooth on the other. What's embedded in that little piece of fabric is where all the magic happens, honestly. So the inside of that patch has been embedded with a crystal lattice structure. And that is an organic solution, you guys, of compounds of amino acids, salts, and sugar crystals. Now, when we talk about that, it's not the stuff that we find in the kitchen cabinet, okay? It's a molecular, think of a liquid molecular structure. It's embedded in that little piece of fabric and it crystallizes. And here's what happens. Those crystals are reflective. So you guys, when we put this patch on our body, oops, I missed it on that one, hit the cord. When we put this patch on our body, here's what happens. Our body emits a very low level of infrared light. And we know this because if we have looked through night vision goggles, we see the colors radiating off of the body. Blues, greens, yellows, oranges. Now, hopefully yours are more in the blues and greens and not the oranges and reds because we know that's inflammation. But you guys, there's a very specific wavelength of that light that reflects a signal off that crystal lattice structure back into our body. And it signals a chain reaction of cellular communication inside of our body. And one of the things that it does is it activates and elevates a copper peptide that our body makes that we stop producing as we age. And that copper peptide is called GHKCU. And this peptide was discovered in the human body about 53 years ago by a Dr. Lauren Picard. And Dr. Picard discovered this copper peptide, and he did over 5,000 studies 50 years worth of research on all of the benefits of GHK copper peptides has on our body. And when we talk about the body, we talk about the systems, okay? The neurological system, the vascular system. We were talking earlier, the immune system. All of those systems, as we age, they get out of balance. Well, one of the things that this GHK copper peptide is responsible for is activating, elevating, and mobilizing our body's master cells. Those cells that we were born with, the millions of them that we have that take care of our body and help our body to repair and heal and regenerate itself. The problem with that is that as we age, we lose that cellular activity. They go dormant, is what happens, right? And it's over a course of years. That's part of the aging process. I think we all have heard about the aging symptoms, right? The wrinkles, the aches and pains, maybe a little foggy in the morning. Maybe we don't feel so great as soon as we wake up. Those are symptoms. The aging process is actually the fact that we lose some of that cellular activity, that GHK copper peptide, and its ability to mobilize our master repair cells. We lose that as we age. And here's what we know that by age, I thought middle aged was 50 because my grandmother lived too much shy of her 105th birthday. But you guys, middle aged is 35. Why? Because 50% of our master cells, they've gone dormant because of our lifestyle, the food we eat, the water, the environment, right? Toxins. Our bodies are toxic. So by age 60, 65, which I'm pushing 60, I'll be 60 next year. I'll be 59 in just a few months. We only have about 8 to 10% of those master cells traveling through our blood, trying to heal and repair our body. So here's what we do. We wear this patch for 12 hours a day. We put it on in the morning when we brush our teeth, right? We all brush our teeth twice a day, I hope. If you're not, you should be. But we put it on in the morning, 12 hours. Now remember, I said it's non-transdermal. Nothing's going into the body. So guess what? There are 0 contraindications with medication, supplementation, anything, any kind of therapy that you're currently doing. Right? We're not putting anything into the body. We're just triggering the body to do what it was designed to do. Then we take it off at night and throw it away. You know, when we sleep, that is when our body goes into repair and regeneration mode, right? We need that sleep, that time to rest. That's when we know that those new master cells will start traveling through the blood systemically, healing and repairing what needs to be repaired in the order that our body knows how to do it. And then we get up the next day and we put a new one on. And we do that day after day, week after week. You know, a rule of thumb is 1 month for each decade you are old. At that time, let's say you're 60, we see at the 6-month mark in clinical studies that you will have new cell regeneration happening in the body, right? Now, will all of your things be checked off of your list? Maybe not. Maybe not. You might not have your shoulder pain be taken care of, but we do know that it will eventually get there. And here's why, you guys, because we have clinical studies. We have 20 years worth of clinical studies done, third-party, double-blind placebo, done from third-party institutions and universities around the world, doctor peer-reviewed, published studies that you can look at. You know, another thing, we have a patent. We have a 20-year patent on this one patch alone. So our clinical studies are huge for us with this technology.
Well, that is fascinating. You know, I take the patches and I didn't know all that information. So thank you so much for sharing that. But the question I think a lot of people are going to wonder is, why haven't we heard of this? If it's been around for 20 years, why haven't we heard of it?
Well, that is such a great question, and we get that question all the time. You know, the company started in 2004 because of the U.S. Navy SEALs, because they needed something to help their bodies with recovery, staying awake on long missions, keeping mental clarity, stamina up, endurance high, because what they were seeing was a breakdown in their systems because of what they were using to try to stay awake for 30 to 60 hours on a mission. And so David, his first patch was invented called the Energy Enhancer patch for the US Navy SEALs. Now that went from that level up to the USA Olympic level in 2011. Now, you guys, we know that what happened in 2011, the country kind of took a different turn in terms of funding and what was used for research and programs that they were doing. So at that time, David actually took this technology out to Stanford University with the USA Olympic swim coach, Richard Quick, and started doing clinical studies out there. And I say this to say that the technology was really big in with the athletes, right? The recovery time, increasing the stamina and endurance. And a lot of you might remember the '08 Beijing Olympics with Michael Phelps. This is the technology that the USA Olympic Committee that they tested and came back and said. With that being said, he's got different patches that support different systems in the body. And the one that we're talking about today, it's called the X39. It took David 10 years in the research department, the development, to get that formula just right so that it would activate that specific copper peptide in the body to start that repairing process. And the X39's only been on the market for 4 years. So it's a word of mouth company. This, as you can see, that technology, this is not a product that can sit on a shelf in hopes that someone's going to pick it up and understand the science behind the technology. This is something we have to do. We like to call it belly to belly, right? Face to face, actually developing relationships with people and helping people.
But what should we begin with? Which patch?
Everyone should start with the X39. This is the patch that's going to activate and elevate all those master cells and get them functioning and communicating with each other again. The second patch that I would tell people to use is called our EON patch. AEON is how it's spelled, eons and eons ago. And the reason is that EON patch was actually the #1 patch before X39 hit the market, because what the EON patch does is it helps the body to get rid of the inflammation. And we know inflammation is the root of all issues, whether that's some syndrome, symptom, or pain. Inflammation is trapped energy in the body. So the reason that we pair those two patches together, right? We're going to get to the root of the problem with that EON patch and then get all of those new cells activated and communicating with each other so that it can start healing and repairing the body. So that is a great place to start. We call that the dynamic duo, the X39 and the EON patch.
Fascinating is I take both of those. I just started the EON patch, but I have noticed a difference in the joints in my hands. I had one finger that was bothering me, so I can highly recommend that. It works. Now, why do you say 12 hours on and 12 hours off? Because I don't always get that 12 hours off, but I need to understand why that's important.
Well, the reason why that is important is that we want to activate and elevate. We're stimulating right now, and we do that for 12 hours because the body, that regeneration process, that typically happens when we sleep. So when we take that patch off at night, that's going to let those new cells start traveling through the blood, healing and repairing. And what happens, the crystal lattice structure is going to start to break down at about that 13, 14-hour mark. It's going to start to dissipate. So we're no longer reflecting that specific wavelength of light. And our body needs that little bit of time off, those hours off. There's something that can happen called attenuation. And I heard someone describe it the other day, like when you yell into a cave and you hear that echoing running through the cave until you no longer hear it anymore. That's that attenuation. And so our body can get used to the signal. So we want to signal it, take the signal off, signal it, and we do that off and on.
All right. Well, are there patches specifically for the day or specifically for the night? Are they broken out that way?
We have a couple of patches that we recommend for daytime use. That is our X39, the X49, and that energy enhancer patch. That was that first patch that I said was invented for the US Navy SEALs for various reasons, because you might have some energy during the day when you're wearing that patch. So those are for sure daytime patches. And then a couple of the nighttime patches that we have are our Alavita patch, which is for repairing the skin from the inside out. That's a nighttime patch. And then we have one called Silent Night, and that is for obvious reasons. That's a nighttime patch, but that patch is going to activate and elevate your body's melatonin naturally to the level your body needs to get a good deep REM sleep. Now, there's a few of the patches. I know David Schmidt wears his Eon patch at night, because what we see with the Eon patch, it's going to help that fight or flight, go, 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 go. It's going to balance that left brain, right brain hemisphere, get things back into balance, quiet that monkey mind. So I personally wear the X39, the 49, the Eon, and the energy enhancer and the carnosine during the day. And then at nighttime, I do my Alavita patch. I wear my glutathione patch at night. And then I also wear the Silent Night patch, because I recently learned the amazing benefits melatonin has on our body other than just sleep.
Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because I've done the Silent Night one myself. Now, what would you recommend for the heart and the brain? Is there anything specific for that?
There is again a peptide, you guys, called carnosine. Our body makes it. We stop making it as we age. Carnosine loves to hang out in the brain and the vascular system. So we see incredible benefits in those two systems in the body. And you guys, we only have one. We have a brain and a heart. We need to take care of it. So carnosine is definitely one that's going to benefit those two systems in the body.
What about that glutathione? How do you say that? What is that good for?
Glutathione, one of the things that I learned about glutathione and then questioned about glutathione is why I had never heard about glutathione before. Glutathione, again, our body makes it. We stop producing it as we age. And glutathione is our body's master antioxidant, master immune boosting pathway. We know how important that is in today's time with all of the things going on. But glutathione basically chops up all the free radicals in our body and gets rid of them and detoxes the body. So it's a way that we detox our body naturally is through glutathione.
Yeah, that's good for the immune system, from what I understand, and
Mhm.
in detox, which we need that. Now, what about weight gain? Do you have one for weight gain? We all suffer from that from time to time.
There's so many things with so many different patches that can support that. The X39 is going to start firing up all the mitochondrias in your cells. The X49, when those two patches are paired together, we are showing, again, in clinical studies, on average, 11% decrease in body fat. It helps to increase muscle mass, which therefore is going to burn fat quicker. One of the patches that we have called the SP6, you'll see that in some of our material, that it helps to curb sugar cravings. That's huge. That's huge for a lot of people, because a lot of people don't understand why they crave sugar. But when we can stop that craving, and the energy enhancer patch, that very first patch that David invented, that patch was designed to burn fat as fuel. It burns an additional 300 to 600 calories a day. Now, I'm going to say too, as you all know, we need to look at what we're putting in our body. We need to talk about our foundation in our food. But absolutely, weight loss, we find that people are losing weight, even inflammation. I've got someone that lost 12 pounds in 3 days because she was so full of inflammation. So many great patches that can support those different systems.
That's interesting. Well, now what about pain relief? There's got to be something for pain relief, because that's a big thing as we age and we get older.
You know, the patch that was popular, most popular before the X39 came out was the Eon patch because it gets rid of the inflammation in the body, and a lot of people see a lot of pain relief in that. However, David Smith invented a patch called IceWave. And IceWave, it's actually a two-patch system, exactly like that energy enhancer patch, which I don't even think I mentioned. That's a two-patch system. But with our IceWave patch, there's a tan patch and a white patch that you wear simultaneously together. And what it does is it cuts that signal that's running through the connective tissue off to the brain that there's pain. So that we call that our instant pain relief patch, IceWave. Now, keep in mind, you guys, it may give you some pain relief, but it's not fixing anything. It's not healing or repairing anything in the body. That's where this little guy's going to come in, that X39. But we can definitely get rid of pain on the spot. And because it travels at the speed of light, I've patched someone earlier today. He had not been able to lift up his arm over his head since 1995, Zane. And I patched him up with IceWave, the X39 and Eon, and I took a picture of him. He couldn't believe it. He was lifting his hand up over his shoulder. And pain is, everyone lives in pain. So many people live in pain.
That's true. I know I have some pain, and that's one of the reasons why I started using those patches, and it does help. Now, what about little kids? Now, can kids take these patches? Is it safe for them, or should we wait till they're 18?
You know, it is safe. I will tell you that there are no clinical studies on children, but we have many, many, many people that are patching their children because it is safe. Because again, we're not putting anything into the body. We know that, right? We see the clinical studies. We know this is a form of wearable light therapy technology, but I see it, and it's a personal choice, right? I know that if I had children and I needed this technology, you better believe I would be patching my children. But it's also a personal choice of whether or not we drive our children through McDonald's every day, right?
Yeah, that's a very, very good point. We have to make wise decisions when it comes to our kids, and taking all
hmm
that into consideration is one of those wise decisions. Well, are there any contradictions that we have to worry about with these patches?
You know, that's one of the great things about it. Because this technology, the patch is non-transdermal, we are not putting anything into the body. So there are zero contraindications with any kind of medication or supplementation or any therapy that you might be doing. Now, if you are on medications, we absolutely want you to share this with your physician or your practitioner and let them know that you found a non-transdermal technology that you want to try, because you'll want your medications monitored, because that's one of the amazing things that we see is that people are able to come off of medications and use this as a natural way to let the body heal and repair.
Another thing I read that you're supposed to drink a lot of water when you're taking these patches. Now, what is considered a lot of water, and why is that important?
Well, a lot of water, it's different for everyone, but here's what we say rule of thumb: half of your body weight in ounces of a clean source of water daily. Now, I know that's a big goal for some people, and that's okay. But, and honestly, the number one reason that people don't drink enough water is because they don't want to pee all day. But you guys, that's where the toxins are stored. We got to get them out, better out than in. And you know, I've always heard hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. You know, I'm a fitness instructor, and I've just always heard that. But when I flew out to Long Beach, California 3 years ago to meet David Schmidt for the first time, when I found this technology, he showed us pictures. It was a video of hydrated cells versus dehydrated cells under a microscope. And it was very eye-opening, because what happens is if you've got dehydrated cells, they cannot communicate with the other cells in your body. They need that conductivity to communicate with each other. And so staying hydrated, you should be doing that anyway. But especially if you're using this technology, you want those new master cells to be fully hydrated and fully functional so that they can talk to all the other cells in the body. So that was a real eye-opener. The hydration is so important. You would see so many things in your body change and fix itself if we were hydrated. And I think 85% of the people over the age of 60 are dehydrated.
Oh, sometimes I fall in that category, especially if you know you're going to go a lot or you're going to take a trip. You don't drink a whole lot, or you don't get hydrated for that one reason. You don't want to have to keep stopping. But I'm going to do better. I'm motivated now.
It's a goal.
My last question, and then we're going to have to wrap this up. But how long can we take these patches?
I love this question. For me personally, I will do this every day for the rest of my life because I was able to come off of 17 years of thyroid medication after 9 months. But here's what we say. Rule of thumb, when you start off patching and using the technology, think of the starting point as 1 month for every decade you are old, okay? Now, what's going to happen if you patch, let's say, for 2 years, and then you stop patching? All of those benefits that you've gained, all of those health benefits that you've gained, those are yours, right? Those are yours. But what's going to happen is the aging process will start, because we know our clinical studies are showing for every 6 months we're patching, we're turning back cellular age by 8.5 years. So when you stop patching, your body will just start the aging process again. How fast is it going to go this time around? I don't know. I think we live in such an environment these days where that aging process is kind of a little bit quicker than it was when we were in our 20s and 30s.
Yes, absolutely it is. Well, Leah, thank you. This has been, I think, one of my favorite shows. I have learned so much. Well, I'm a big believer in the patches, and like I said, I use 3 of them. Maybe it's 4 on a daily basis, and I reap the benefits. I can see that. Well, why don't you tell everybody how they can contact you, how they can learn more, where they can get some patches, how they can reach you, and because I know you're going to be very well sought after this program.
Well, I appreciate the time with you today. You know, this is a technology that I would love to have a conversation with everyone about if you choose to do it, right? I want to know exactly what's going on with you and what's best for you. So call me or text me. And my phone number is 713-299-7511. I would love to talk with you. And this is about building relationships as well. That's what I love most about this company is I built relationships around the world. Now, if you want to just purchase and you don't want to talk and you don't want to understand it a little bit more, then go to my website. It's Lifewave, LIFEWAVE.com/Leah Stasney. And you can click on join and buy a wholesale kit, or you can click on shop and pay retail. Super simple to get a hold of, but it is an education process. I do want you to fully understand the science behind the technology.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here. On behalf of USA Global TV and Radio, thank you.
This program has been brought to you in part by Zane Carson Carruth, etiquette and protocol expert, international award-winning author, television show host, and philanthropist. Thank you to Zane, our official diamond sponsor for USA Global TV and Radio in partnership with E360 TV. Zane is the author of the world's first tooth fairy ever, as well as many other children's books. She's also the television host of ELEGANCE, Polished Demeanor, and POSH Living, seen on USA Global TV and Radio.
Hi, my name is Zane Carson Carruth, and I'm the author of this book, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever.
Reading is magic. Studies have shown that reading to your children lays the foundation for greater success in life. Reading helps develop language and vocabulary skills. It helps improve memory, and it encourages curiosity and inspires creativity. The benefits are immeasurable, and as a parent, you'll benefit too. In only 10 or 15 minutes a day, you'll be creating more memories and a bonding experience that will last for years to come. So take time to read to your children. Read them books about things that engage and interest them. Tales of fairies and magic fascinate children, and as everyone knows, the Tooth Fairy is at the top of the list. If your child loves magic, wands, adventure, and what child doesn't, you'll love reading them books from the trademarked series, The World's First Tooth Fairy Ever. Follow along as Abella, the world's first tooth fairy, accidentally starts the tooth fairy tradition. Learn the tricks of being a professional tooth fairy in the book, Abella Starts a Tooth Fairy School. Your child's imagination will soar as you read the adventures of Abella and her magic wand. These wonderful books are available at worldsfirsttoothfairy.com and at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Walmart.